Alright, ladies and gentlemen, well, it is about that time. Let's talk about Charlotte. Let's talk about her build, best way to go about her, and yeah, give the global players a bit of a foundation on what to work with when it comes to starting her build a little bit early before the update drops. Okay, so this is the current build that I have for my Charlotte. Now, realistically, there's two ways to go about Charlotte herself. She's a support, and realistically you want her in as fast as possible. You want that speed to kick in. So this is one way to go about it if you want to go about it this way. I'm just, again, the route that I took with my Charlotte is that I already know Charlotte has good speed, right? 120. If I get to LR plus 4, she gets an additional 2. If I then give her the plus 3 speed, she gets an additional 3. So altogether, that's a plus 5. So like, Charlotte as is already quick. There are games where, yes, the opposing Charlotte is quicker, but the minute they get the Charlotte in, I get my Charlotte in. So Charlotte is already a fast character. So obviously with the build that I've decided to go with, it's given her defense, HP. Now obviously you have to remember from her barrier, it's going off from her HP scaling. That's why I've got a ton of HP for her, and just making her a unit that can just tank, eat hits, and is there for the long haul. You want Charlotte there for the longevity, because she's there to provide fortify, all the immunity, the consistent barriers, the SP economy. That's her main role. So you need her there as long as possible. Don't really care for the damage, but regardless, you know, when you need to do damage, you do damage. So this is basically what I got working with, of course. Obviously when it comes to the substats, you want to cater more to the HP and defense. Those are going to be two of the crucial ones that you want to focus on, and then after that keep the defensive substats in check, being crit rate, endurance, and all that good stuff. Alright, so that's going to be the main focus when it comes to building your Charlotte, of course. I mean, again, with the accessories themselves, I mean, realistically it depends on what you've got, but yeah, more on the defense. I mean, yeah, unfortunately I didn't have any good main stats going on, but you know, crit damage, crit rate, damage, I guess, when using her first skill. But it was more to do with if I can get some defense substats and HP substats. That's what I was really aiming for there. So that's in the initial build. Now, like I said, when it comes to Charlotte herself, as per usual, you can resort to doing a full set gear of speed and then giving her a double defense if you want to go down that route. If you want to make sure that when it comes to the defensive side to try and fit in, actually, is it possible to fit in? Oh, okay, alright, yeah, that works. That works. Yeah, so you can do like a full set of speed and then 2 defense, and then if you want to again work on with having the HP buff, so that way you get a bigger barrier, then again you can go down that route. Alright, fair enough. Again, you can also go down the toughness route if you want to. You know, you've also got that as a bit of an option. If you don't want to go down that HP route to what I have, which is of course switching out the HP to throw in toughness set, 2 of these. If you I don't know if you guys have them, or maybe the crit resistance. You know, you can always play around with that if you want to go down the 2-2-2 set, of course. But essentially that is the basic. But realistically, boys, that is how you are probably going to be building your Charlotte, preferably. But just obviously the one takeaway is just make her an absolute unit. When it comes to the skills, what do you want to work on? You don't need to care about the first skill because it's just damage. You don't care about that. You don't need to worry about the combination skills because again it's just damage buff. You don't need to worry about that. It's going to be the ultimate and the second skill that is going to be your main focus, and that I highly recommend you max out, because of course with the second skill, as of right now, you have a 40% chance to reduce your own skill 2 cooldown by 1 turn. Obviously you want to get that to completely maxed out, so whenever you use skill 2, you've got that consistency of that cooldown being dropped by 1 turn. And on top of that, the ultimate, obviously, as you guys can see, you start off with a 30% damage reduction taken buff to all your allies. By maxing that out, it'll go down to 54. Is it 56 or 54? Oh god, what am I doing? 54. There we go. So yeah, I've completely. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I wasted resources. I'm an absolute donut. But anyway, that is going to be your main 2 focus when it comes to working on the Charlotte itself. I personally went for my second skill first, knowing how important it is with the Greymore. As you guys can see, you know, I wanted to make sure that I had my skill 2 on hand, because I mean 30% is still a great deal amount, but I needed to make sure that the percentage was in my favor for skill 2. So I personally would say make sure that your cooldown is in your favor, and then at that point you can then start buffing up your damage taken. I mean, you can kind of split it even, that way you can put yourself in the green, I would say, so the percentage in your favor, and then, you know, kind of work off both. But yeah, make sure that at the very least, if you can, 100% that, so that way your skill 2 is just picture perfect. Alright, so when it comes to the talent tree, fairly simple. Well, I say that. Attack you really don't need to worry about, but if you do choose to, then it's going to be increased attack and battle frenzy. If you want to waste your resources, then, you know, do as you please. Middle stone, just give it attack and magic attack, but I personally haven't wasted the resources on Charlotte, because yeah, no point. It's going to be defense and support on what you want to capitalize on. So I think it's already set. Yeah, so increase max HP, so that will help her out on the passive of the barrier play, and then of course endurance. And then the middle stone, I decided to go with defense. Now I can apply level 3 stones, so I'm happy about that, making her even more of a goddamn tank. And then with the support role, I just kept it at swiftness, so that way I've got yeah, grants 1 and +1 SP buff upon having less than 2 SP. Yeah, so I mean, just kind of helps me out in terms of getting my ultimate more quicker. And then yeah, damage resistance, and there you go. And then the middle stone, HP, get that HP applied, so that way you got a bigger barrier play. And that's essentially the talent tree for Charlotte. So of course, Charlotte's Greymore, that's essentially the one that you want to go for, but you can opt out with Givso, because I mean, keep in mind, if you want to play around with increasing her max HP, then again, if you want that bigger barrier play, then that's also an option. So you can go around with that SR Greymore or the Adventurer's Journal, if you have that, of course. But when it comes to, I guess, in a supportive role, Sally's one you can't go wrong. It's giving because if you're making a team where she's supporting the highest attacking unit, then of course, you know, you can't exactly go wrong with giving him or giving her damage, you know, so you can go down that route. Depending on if you have this Charlotte's, the season 4 one duped out, I mean, you can't go wrong with this one either, because it does help out getting her ultimate a lot quicker, so it makes your whole team a lot more tankier, you know, can't go wrong with that. At times, I used to have Williams, like a ton of his, and it's not too bad in terms of, you know, using the skill 2 and then having that little bit of healing going on. So, you know, giving that little support role and healing side of things. But yeah, that's pretty much how it's going to work. But with defensive role, you can always resort to the Moonlight Necklace. You can't go wrong with that bad boy. Get that defense up there, so making her a bit of a tanky character right there. But yeah, I think that is pretty much some of the skill pages which I would highly recommend if you want to go and choose to use. You know, you can go down that HP route to get the bigger barrier play. You've got the Greymores to provide more with the skill 2, since that's going to be a key skill for her. And you've got the outside play of just, you know, getting the ultimate a lot quicker, or you can just go down that full route of just giving her more defense and just making her that tank of a unit. So there's that. Does this pull taunt? Yeah, I mean this won't be too bad, because if you are making a tanky Charlotte, she can still be that helpful character to kind of make an enemy focus on her while she tanks, because the Charlotte will be able to tank, let me tell you. But anyway, that's just some of the skill pages that I would suggest. For me personally, when I didn't have the Charlotte's Greymore, I was opting out for the bigger barrier play, so I was sticking on the Adventurer's Journal. But if I needed her to be a tank, I also had the Moonlight Necklace. Those are the two ones I kept on opting out for, depending on what I needed at the time, depending on the situation I was in. So yeah, we'll work on the build for Magna, but yeah, once again, as you guys can see, yeah, LR +4, you get that 2 speed, and then you can stick a stone in, so that's +5 from what she can get. So yeah, something to take note of. I mean, we all know how broken speed is, giving it to a character, so yeah, food for thought. Anyway, boys, I'll leave it there. That is the basic build for Charlotte. We'll look into Magna, but yeah, essentially Charlotte, just make it so that she can tank. That's it.